Today, we're diving deep into people-pleasing. And I mean, we're going way beyond just being nice. We're going to unpack the complex, often painful reality behind it, what really drives it, the surprising ways it can show up, and, most importantly, how to start breaking free. And we're going to start with a confession that gets right to the heart of it.
I mean, just listen to that. That's a raw, anonymous quote from our source material, and it just perfectly captures what we're talking about today. See, this isn't about being agreeable. It's about this desperate, really deep-seated need for love and validation that can end up shaping your entire life.
So, to really understand this, we have to get inside the head of a people pleaser. We need to look at the fundamental conflict they're living with every single day.
On the surface, the logic seems pretty simple, right? You think, if I'm easygoing, if I make everybody happy, and I never cause any trouble, well then people will value me, they'll want me around. This is the core belief. It's like the operating system running in the background. But here's the thing. The reality is often the complete opposite.
And this is where that belief just completely crashes into reality. The belief is that being agreeable is like a shield. It protects you from being abandoned. But the hard reality for people who've actually lived this is that you become disposable. Your seeing is so easygoing that people start to take you for granted. When you don't show that you have your own needs or boundaries, people just assume you can't be lost. There are no stakes, so you become a convenience, not a priority.
So why? Why do people get stuck in this self-defeating pattern? Well, the answer isn't just some simple character flaw. As we're about to see, the roots are often planted much, much earlier in life.
And this is maybe one of the most important things to get. People-pleasing isn't something you are, it's something you learned to do. It was a coping mechanism, a strategy that at one point in your life was absolutely necessary for your emotional and maybe even your physical survival.
This quote from our source, wow, it's just heartbreaking, and it shows you exactly what happens. A child learned that being quiet and compliant, basically being easy, was the safest way to exist. They got so good at putting on that mask, hiding their own needs, that the people closest to them couldn't even see their struggle. The survival strategy worked, but the cost was never being truly known.
So what kind of environment creates this? Well, our sources point to these common dynamics. Maybe you had a parent who was always unhappy or critical. As a kid, you start to internalize that, thinking, it's my job to fix their mood. Love starts to feel like something you have to earn, something that's conditional. And being good often just means being quiet, being invisible. Our sources also note this is especially common for kids with narcissistic parents, where the child learns early on that their main job is to manage the parent's feeling.
Okay, so we've looked at the what and the why. But now we're going to get to the most challenging and maybe the most liberating idea in this entire explainer. This is where the real work of change begins.
I want you to really sit with this question for a second. What if this behavior that we call people-pleasing isn't nearly as passive as it looks? What if it's actually an active strategy, even if it's subconscious, to manage and control the world around you?
And here it is. This is the reframe that can change everything. See, people-pleasing isn't really about making other people feel good for their sake. It's about managing their reactions so that you don't have to feel the discomfort of their anger or their disappointment or their rejection. It's really a preemptive strike against your own bad feelings.
Let's break that down. First, it's about controlling perceptions. You don't say no because you can't bear the thought of someone thinking poorly of you. Second, by presenting a false front, you're actually denying other people their free will to know and react to the real you. And it's all driven by that third motive. You just cannot tolerate the awful feeling that comes with someone being upset with you.
And this creates this really fascinating, kind of unexpected dynamic. Because a people pleaser knows their own yes might not be real, they're often terrified of that in other people. So they end up seeking out very direct, even blunt individuals. Why? Because with those people, the rules feel clear. There's a sense of safety in their honesty. You believe their yes is a real yes, and their no is a real no.
Okay, acknowledging all this stuff is tough. I get it. But it's also the exact point where you start to get your power back. So how do you actually begin to dismantle this lifelong pattern? Let's look at the path forward.
This is it. This is the foundational truth you have to internalize. You have to really let it sink in.
Not everyone is going to like you, and that's not just okay, it's completely normal. Trying to get 100% approval from everyone isn't just impossible, it's the very thing that's keeping you trapped. I love this quote from the source material because it puts it so perfectly. It's funny, yeah, but it's also profoundly true. It's just a simple, memorable reminder that universal appeal is not a realistic goal for a human being.
So here are the tools for rebuilding. It starts with this mantra that you have to learn to say to yourself: I am not responsible for other people's feelings. It's about prioritizing your own needs and understanding that being disliked is not fatal. It's about realizing that every single no you give to someone else is actually a yes to yourself. But maybe the most practical first step is this last one. Stop offering help when nobody's asked for it. Wait to be asked. That one simple change forces a much healthier dynamic.
This quote reframes the whole idea of confrontation. It's not about being aggressive or picking fights. It's about self-discovery. If you never risk disagreement, if you never state your own case, you never actually get to see who you are. All you'll ever see is a reflection of what someone else wants you to be. So we'll leave you with this final thought. What if you took all of that incredible energy you spend managing everyone else's feelings and you redirected it inward, toward honoring your own? The goal isn't to become selfish, the goal is to become authentic. Because it's in that authenticity that you'll finally find the genuine connection that people-pleasing always promises but can never, ever deliver. Thanks for watching.